Hi, I'm Quinn, and this is Open Awareness Yoga. Today's class is to settle anxiety, overwhelm, and burnout. So there's certain poses that we can do, certain breathing techniques that we can do that help settle the system and that help us manage these things. And even if you're not in a state of anxiety, burnout, or overwhelm, this practice is still going to feel good. Open up the backside of your body, help you hang upside down a little bit. So yeah, the props you'll need for today are the normal ones. You'll need a strap. You might not use the strap, a blanket or a bath towel, and 2 yoga blocks or 2 books. And optional, you might also use a wall or a chair. I'll give you an option for it. It's not necessary. So if you're close to one, you might use one. And we're going to get started seated today, but I'm going to tell you a little bit about the nervous system. So if you're more comfortable lying down, if you just want to relax on your back for the first minute or so while I talk to you, that's fine. And if you're ready to get seated, use a folded towel or blanket underneath you. Cross your legs comfortably. Yeah. So our nervous system, our central nervous system, is composed of 2 parts. The sympathetic nervous system, which is the fight, flight, freeze, puts us in action, reaction mode. It's the anxiety state, which is there to save our lives. It's there to function. And then the parasympathetic nervous system. And the parasympathetic nervous system is the rest and digest, and it activates to calm the body, to start the digestion, slow the heart rate, to boost the immune system. And these 2 systems are supposed to work symbiotically, one fluctuating, then the other moving up. And what happens in our modern life is that we're often in a state of sympathetic nervous system, in a state of fight, flight, freeze. And our parasympathetic nervous system that's there to calm us down isn't getting the signal to activate. And so the yoga that we're doing today is stimulating in our body the activation of that parasympathetic nervous system. So you'll hear me saying parasympathetic probably throughout class. And that's what I'm talking about, that rest and digest state. Okay. So if you are laying on your back, come to seated, sit up on something. And if you are crossing your legs already, change the cross of your legs just to balance out a little bit. Bring your palms face down onto your knees. Close your eyes. And feel for your 2 bony sitting bones on the blanket underneath you. And you might rock side to side, trying to even out the weight from right to left so that you feel even on the earth, or even reach back and move the flesh of the buttocks out from underneath you. And then from those 2 points, stack the shoulders right on top of the hips and the tops of the ears right on top of the shoulders. So the tip of the chin moves back and up towards the top of the throat. We're aligning the spine like a stack of children's blocks. This is an intuitive process. And just tune into your breath, breathing in and out through the nose if possible. Slowing and smoothing out your breath. And let your hands hang down by your sides. With as little effort and energy as possible, with your inhale breath, bring your arms out, up, and overhead, palms facing one another. And as you exhale, flip the palms away from each other and release the arms slowly back down along the side body. Continue with your breath. Be lazy about it, least amount of effort possible to inhale, arms up, and exhale, arms down. Move with your own speed and rate of breathing, which might be different from mine. Your breathing might be different from what I cue all class, and go with yours. Mine's there if you want it. So we'll finish up this round with an inhale, bringing the arms overhead. We'll leave them there. Wait for an exhale, and as you exhale, twist to the right. Bring the right hand behind you, left hand to the knee. We come right back to center. Inhale lazily. Bring everything back to center. Arms overhead. Exhale, twist to the left. Again, inhale back to center. Exhale, twist to the right. This time, stay. Inhale, lengthen your spine, lifting up through the crown of your head. And exhale, twist just a little bit deeper, nothing too forceful. Another breath in. Another breath out. Inhale back to center, arms floating overhead. Exhale, twist to the left. Stay. Inhale, lift up through your crown, lengthen your spine. Exhale, gently twist a little deeper. Another breath in here. Another breath out here. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale, leave your left arm up, bring your right hand down by the side of your body. Inhale, lengthen up through the entire left side body, and as you exhale, side bend to the right. Soften the right shoulder blade down. As you inhale, reach long through the left side body and press your head back. Breathing here. Slow, smooth breath. Inhale, back up the center. Both arms come overhead. Exhale, left hand comes down, right arm stays up. Inhale, lengthen the right side body. Exhale, side bend left. As you inhale, lengthen. Press your head back, lean back. And stay and breathe. Next, inhale, breath, come back to center, both arms overhead. Exhale, side bend to the right. Inhale, lengthen, lean back. Exhale, stay. We're changing it up. As you inhale, come up halfway. Turn your body over your right knee and exhale, forward fold over the right knee. Crawl your hands forward, press down into the palms and forward with the palms to sink your weight into your hips and let your head hang. Breathe here, getting a stretch through the backside body, maybe a little bit into the hips as well. Inhale, press into your arms, come up halfway, straighten the spine. And then crawl the hands forward so that they're right in front of your legs and fold over your lap, symmetrically here. Stay and breathe. Sinking your weight back into your hips. Drag your shoulders down your back towards your hips. Notice how this feels. Now crawl the hands in towards your legs to come back up to seated. Bring the hands back along the side of the body. Inhale, lift those arms overhead. Exhale, left hand down, side bend to the left. Inhale, lengthen and lean back. Exhale, stay. Inhale, come up halfway, turn your body over the left leg. Exhale, forward fold over the left knee. Breathe here. Weight sinking back into the hips. Now we crawl the hands back in towards the left knee to come up to seated. Bring the hands along the side of the body and change which leg is in front. So change the cross of your legs. Bring the hands in front of you and here we go. Forward folding over the second side. Crawl the hands forward, bend the elbows, let the head hang, and breathe smooth. Crawl the hands back in towards the leg, come up to seated. And we'll come to lie on the back for some ab work. So lay on your back with your knees bent and your feet flat on the floor. Bring the arms along the side of the body, palms face down. Feet hips width distance apart at a comfortable distance away from the buttocks. A few pelvic tilts here. As you exhale, flatten your low back into the mat. As you inhale, release. A little arch comes in your low back, that natural curve. Continue with your breath, exhaling to rock the pelvis backwards. Inhaling forward. Free your neck, free your body. Let this movement in your pelvis undulate your entire being, all of your bones. Finish up, come back to a neutral spine so that your pubic bone is level with the ceiling. Draw your front two hip points together. Now that's not a big move, it's an action. You'll be able to feel it but not see it. Then lift your right knee over your right hip. Breathe in. And as you exhale, lower to tap your right toes down to the ground. Inhale, lift it back up. 3 more times. Exhale, tap. Inhale, lift. Try to keep the pelvis still. Exhale, tap. Inhale, lift. Exhale, tap. Inhale, lift. And place the right foot back down on the ground. Inhale here. Exhale, left knee comes up over the left hip, shin parallel to the floor. Here we go. As you exhale, lower to tap. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Last one. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Keep the left knee over the left hip. Bring the right knee up to join it. Now the 90-degree angle at the knees, you can either point through the ankle or flex back through the ankle. You might already be feeling the work here. We'll do the same thing. Inhale here. Keep the pelvis still. Exhale, tap the right foot. Inhale, bring the right knee back. Switch sides. Exhale, tap the left foot. Inhale, left up. Exhale, right down. Inhale, right up. Exhale, left down. Inhale, left up. Exhale, right down. Inhale, right up. Exhale, left down. Inhale, left up. Now, you can continue to alternate right, left, or lower and lift both legs, but try to keep that pelvis still. All right, here we go. Exhale, lower to tap. Inhale, lift. Relax the neck. Exhale, lower, tap. Inhale, lift. Soften the shoulders. Exhale, lower, tap. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower, tap. Inhale, lift, and stay. You can place the feet down if you need a break. Interlace your fingers underneath the head and bring the elbows up so you can see them in your peripheral vision. Press your head down into your hands. Feel the weight of the skull in the hands. And as we exhale, you'll lift head and shoulders off of the earth into a traditional crunch. Now you're not pressing your low back down into the ground. The hips are still neutral. Take a breath in here. Let the head hang heavy in the hands. And in the next inhale, lower the knuckles to tap on the floor. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. Continue with your breath. If you need to place the feet on the floor, do so. I don't want you to feel any pain in the back or in the hips. But what we're doing with this core exercise is we're igniting our internal fire. So if we've been burnt out, we're cranking it back up. And soon we'll be moving that fire through our body for our own healing, our own regeneration, for our own sustenance, not for someone else's or something else's. Finish up here. Last one. Lift and lower. And let's take a break. Feet down on the ground. Lengthen the legs out long. Reach the arms behind you and stretch through the belly. We've got a few more in this ab series. Hands come back underneath the head, bend the knees, feet on the floor. Now, a few pelvic tilts just to reorient ourselves to our hips. As you exhale, press the low back down. Inhale to let it lift. Exhale, press. Inhale, lift. Last one. Exhale, press. Inhale, lift. And now find a neutral pelvis. Nice. Here, we'll bring just the right knee up over the right hip. Pull the elbows towards each other so you can see them in your peripheral vision. And we'll move to the side. Inhale here. And exhale, crunch up. Reach your left elbow towards your right knee, but keep your knee right over the hip. Inhale, lower. We keep going right. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. Head heavy in the hands. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. This time, turn the head to look right. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Turn the head. Exhale, lower. Last one. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Place the right foot down. Lift the left foot up. Inhale, lift, right elbow to left knee. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Turn the head this time. Inhale, lift, turn to look left. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift, turn the head. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift, turn the head, exhale, lower. Last one, inhale, lift, turn the head, exhale, lower. Bring the left foot down and lengthen everything long. Breathe. Cultivating that internal fire, but not to burn ourselves out. To come back to our center, to our core, to our power. Cultivated for our own use within our control. Bend the knees, feet to the floor, and bring the arms along the side of the body. Pull the right knee into the chest, hug it in, and right away we'll go into a half happy baby. So bring the sole of the foot to face the sky, and you can either reach to grab as high up as you can on your calf or shin, or with both hands, grab your feet. So the right hand will be on the pinky side of the foot, left hand on the thumb side of the foot. Pull your right knee down the right side of the body as if it could touch the floor. Now, everyone can make their right leg touch the floor if you let the body rock to the right. Then we're going to do that now. So rock the body to the right so that you can bring the right thigh and knee down to the floor. Keep holding onto the right foot with both hands and draw the right foot directly over the knee as best you can. This is already pretty deep stretch, so you can hold this, or if you would like, you can play around with straightening your left leg. It's not pretty. It's kind of a weird shape. So do what you like, do what feels like it's serving your body. Now we're getting into the hips, and we'll continue to do this throughout practice. And tension that we hold in the body, any areas of tightness, can be thought of as leaves in your gutter or a dam in a river. And so it can stop that flow of energy moving through us, and it just catches on to these gunky places, causing pain or tension. So we're opening up through the body, and we've cultivated that fire. So as you breathe in and out through the nose, you're not only removing blockages, but you are facilitating a flow of energy through your entire body. So here, release and loosen your grip on your right foot. Bend your left knee and very carefully come back to center. Place the right foot down on the ground. Pull the left knee into the chest. First, just hugging it in. Then we'll come to that half happy baby. Sole of the left foot to the sky. Reach up to grab where you can on your left shin or grab your foot with both hands. Now here, you'll rock as far as you need to over to the left to flatten the left thigh, the quadricep muscle, and the knee on the floor. And then pull that left foot over to the right so that it stacks up over the left knee, or move towards that as best you can. Nothing has to be perfect. Nothing is perfect, it's the truth. Now you can stay here if you like. You might straighten that right leg. You might play around, experiment. Whatever you do, smooth out your breath through your nose. And recognize that you're doing something good for yourself. You're in the middle of it now. Soothing your body, opening your body, re-energizing. Loosen your grip on that left leg, slide the right foot back to the floor, and very carefully come back to center. Release both of your feet down to the ground. We'll take a butterfly pose, Supta Baddha Konasana. Arms out to the side, palms face up. Bring the soles of your feet together and open your knees wide. Now lift up your buttocks, scoot it towards your heels, place it back down. That lengthens the low back. And bring your hands to touch your low belly. Nose points to the sky, close your eyes. And we'll go through a breathing practice here. So know that at any time, you might choose to bring your knees together or lengthen your legs long, especially if this hurts your knees or feels like you've had enough in the groins or wherever you're feeling a stretch. Now, if you're comfortable or you're happy in this shape, you're welcome to hold it as long as we're doing the breathing exercise. So just listen to your body. Feel how the breath moves the belly underneath your palms. And allow your breathing in and out through the nose to be free. Soften your throat, nothing blocking the breath. And we'll start to breathe together. Let all the air out, and we'll take an inhale breath together. Here we go. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Continue with this even breathing. And if your breath needs to be faster or slower, find your own count. Now slowly, one by one, we're going to work towards an exhale that's twice as long as your inhale. So you're counting for yourself now. On your next exhale, count to 5. And continue inhaling for 4, and on the next exhale, count to 6. And in this fashion, work your way up to inhaling for a count of 4 and exhaling for a count of 8. Now there are exceptions to this. If it feels like you're gasping for your inhale breath, back off. Find an exhale that's longer than the inhale, but not by so much that you feel anxious because of your breathing practice. Physiologically, every inhale breath activates your sympathetic nervous system, so the heart rate increases. And every exhale activates your parasympathetic nervous system, your heart rate decreases. This is vasovagal tone, is healthy and natural. So by making your exhale breath longer than your inhale breath, you are physiologically activating your rest and digest, your calming nervous system. And we'll work with this throughout the rest of class. Now I'll say make your exhale twice as long, but if for you that's just 1 or 2 more counts, that's the right thing for you. Now bring your hands underneath your knees and bring the knees together. Toe heel the feet wider than the hips. Let the knees knock in towards one another. Relax the arms back to the sides of the body and return to your inhales and exhales twice as long. From here, roll on to one side and press your hands down into the ground to come to tabletop position, hands and knees. If you've got sore knees, place your blanket underneath your knees. Spread your fingers wide and bring your knees directly underneath your hips. We'll stretch out the wrists. So take your left hand, flip it upside down so your palm is face up and your fingers point back towards your knees. If you don't feel much, bend your elbow and scoot your hips back to get a stretch along the top side of the hand. It's where your knuckles are. where any gems on a ring will be. Then take the weight off of your left hand, flip it back to normal, and we'll do the second side. Right palm flips face up, fingers point back towards your knee. Stay here or scoot the hips back, whatever you need to feel a stretch in the back of the wrist, maybe up into the forearm. Find an exhale that's twice as long. Flip that right palm back. And here we'll turn both hands, fingers away from one another, 90 degrees. And then we'll continue that trajectory to turn the fingers back towards the knees. Now palms are face down. Fingers pointing towards knees, palms face down. You may stay here, you might need a little more. Bend the elbows, lean back. Any amount of stretch in the wrist is the right amount. You don't need to go too far. Relax your finger knuckles. Find an exhale that's twice as long. All right, very carefully engage your belly muscles that you've turned on and worked hard, and then bring your hands back to their regular orientation. And come up to standing on your knees. Interlace your fingers and make circles with your hands in one direction, and circles with your wrists rather. And then change direction. Very confusing. I'm not even sure if I'm doing it, but I'm trying. Then bring the arms down by the sides of the body. Actually, let's bring the hands to the hips. Send the right leg out to the right side of the body. Foot on the floor and toes facing forward, so the same direction as your nose. Try to straighten that right leg and lift the right inner thigh away from the earth as you drop the right side hip down. So we're getting into the hips again. As you inhale, lift the left arm up to the sky. Exhale, side bend to your right. Release your right hand and let it slide down the right leg. Inhale to lengthen through the left side body. And as you exhale, lean back slightly, just as we did in the beginning. Now find an exhale that's twice as long. See if you can stick with that. Every exhale, twice as long. As you inhale, bring the left arm back up to the sky, hands to the hips, and step the right knee underneath you. Use an exhale that's twice as long to shoot the left leg out to the side, toes face forward. Lift the left inner thigh away from the ground, sink the left hip down, and inhale, right arm comes overhead. Exhale, slide left arm down the left leg, side bend to the left. Inhale to lengthen right side body, lean back. Exhale twice as long. Inhale. Exhale twice as long. Inhale, come back up to center, hands to the hips, step both knees underneath you. And we'll come to a child's pose with some of your props. So grab your yoga blocks or your books. If you're using blocks, just use one. If you're using books, stack them both up, one on top of the other. They'll be for underneath your forehead. Here we're sitting back on the heels, big toes touch, knees a little bit wider than the hips. Bring your hands forward and bring your forehead down to your prop so that the nose is free and floats above the ground. Tune back into that breath where you exhale twice as long. Inhale through the nose. Exhale twice as long. Continue. So here we're moving into some poses where we do our best to keep the head down. And you'll have options. Do what's best for your body. And even make something up if what I'm telling you isn't working. If I don't give you any options today that work for you. Just try to keep the head down, level with or lower than the heart. Next, we'll be moving into a downward facing dog, and we'll be there for a while. So I want to help you set your arms appropriately. So stay in your child's pose. Press your palms down to the ground and lift your forearms off the earth. Wrap your outer upper arms down towards the ground. Saying that a different way, wrap your triceps down towards the ground and broaden across the neck and the upper back.
These are the arms you'll hold in your downward facing dog. Okay, so now let's come up to tabletop, hands and knees. Another special feature of this downward dog is that we're going to try and put the head down on something. So you've already got 2 books underneath you. You might grab your blanket here, fold it so that it's thick, stack it on top of your books. We'll make a platform that hopefully the crown of the head or the forehead can reach. We'll come into a downward facing dog and drop the head down so that it lands on your props. Remember the arm position that we set in child's pose. Find that here. If the backs of your legs are very tight, spread the feet wider apart and bend the knees. The head should be holding a little bit of weight in your body, but if you have any neck problems, lighten the load. Not much weight on the head. Now, for some people, this is too much on the wrists. It's very tiring in the arms. It's actually going to cause more anxiety and overwhelm than relax us. And so for you, you can come back to a child's pose, or this is when you can use your optional wall or chair. So if you're using a wall, which you can't see in the Instagram video, but I'll show you anyway, you'll bring your hands to the wall, step back and make an L shape, and let the head just hang. If you're using a chair, you just bring your hands onto the chair and take a downward facing dog with the hands lifted up higher. And I haven't forgotten about you here. You're still in downward facing dog. This is an inversion, supported. It's also a version of a supported headstand because you've got some weight on the crown of your head. Take as many breaks as you need to, resting in a child's pose or on your belly. And if you're okay holding downward facing dog, just notice what it's like to have been in this shape for so long. No matter where you are, feel your brain stretching the spinal cord and falling down towards the ground with gravity. Imagine that your brain is just emptying out through the point of your head that's touching something. And if your head isn't touching anything, it's just dripping to the earth. And now find your exhales that are twice as long. About 30 more seconds here. There's no use in holding a pose longer than it serves you. So if your body's telling you it's time for a break, do that. It's not about endurance in this moment. It's just about being upside down or head down. Exhale twice as long. All right, bend your knees. If you've made your way off your mat or if you're in a child's pose, come back to down dog. And you'll walk your feet forward to your hands. Scoot your props out of the way. Bend the knees as much as you need to and keep the head down, hang forward. Some people prefer to have their fingertips on the ground or on top of props. For others, it feels really nice to grab opposite elbows and hang in a ragdoll. If you're choosing ragdoll, let the shoulder blades just fall with gravity and shake your head no, shake your head yes. And then like a heavy bowling ball, let the skull and the brain just plunk right down to the floor. Exhale twice as long. We're purposely hanging upside down, but always take breaks when you need them. If you're in ragdoll, switch which forearm is on the bottom. And just notice where your weight is in your feet. Exhale twice as long. Inversions are also very calming to the mind. Now the heart pumping blood to the brain doesn't have to work against gravity. They flip our perspective. You might notice something else. Now release the arms, fingertips to the ground or to your props. Toe heel the feet, hips width distance apart. Bend the knees just slightly. Sink the weight of your tailbone down and slowly, slowly roll up through the spine. The head stays hanging and is the very last thing to lift. And we roll back down. Tuck the chin to the chest, bend the knees slightly. Roll vertebra by vertebra down through the spine. Let the arms just hang like you're a skeleton. And notice any chunks in your back that move as one big block. We'll roll back up, rolling up and down at your own pace. Every time you roll up, sink the hips down, not like chair pose, just a weight to the base of your tailbone. This protects your low back. And if you feel lightheaded because of being upside down, just head back down, get close to the earth until you feel better. The next time you head down, find one area of your spine that's moving like a big block and then stay there. Tailbone still heavy. Maybe you roll up a couple vertebra and down a couple vertebra. Up a couple vertebra, down a couple vertebra. Trying to get that area of the spine to move one by one. And notice how your strong belly muscles help support that. And then roll all the way down. Last time we come back up, if there's another chunk in your spine that you want to stop and explore, do so. Feeling how the front and back side of the body coordinate, talk to one another. And eventually we'll all roll all the way up until the chin comes parallel to the earth. Now take a quarter turn so you're facing the long side of your mat. Bring your books out in front of you, just somewhere off in front of your mat. And we'll stand in Tadasana for a minute. So bring the feet hips width distance or together. Arms along the side of the body, palms face forward. Press down into your feet. Roll the shoulders back and down. And then line up the hips over the heels, shoulders over the hips, tops of ears over the shoulders. Find your exhales that are twice as long. Next, inhale breath, arms float overhead, just as we began practice. Now as we exhale, the arms float down twice as long. Inhale, arms come up. Exhale, they float down twice as long. This time we stay. Inhale, lift the arms up. Leave them there. Feel the hips are stacked over the heels, shoulders over the hips. Straighten the arms, and from the shoulder blades, bring the arms back, aligned with the ears. Exhale twice as long. Inhale. Exhale, release the arms down by the side of the body. And now bring them to the hips and take a step wide with the legs. We'll take Utthita Parsvakonasana, extended side angle. Externally rotate your right leg from the right hip socket. Angle the left toes in. Inhale, lift the arms out to a T. Exhale, bend into your right knee. And then widen or shorten your stance so that your right knee is directly over the right heel. As you inhale, reach the right fingertips forward. Exhale, lower the right elbow to the thigh. And then sweep the left arm down, forward, and overhead. Inhale to stretch along the left side body and lean back. Exhale twice as long. Again, inhale. Exhale twice as long. Inhale, come back up. Both legs straight, hands on the hips. Parallel the feet, second side. Externally rotate the left leg, angle the right toes in. Inhale, lift the arms to a T. Exhale, bend into the left knee and adjust the length of your stance.
As you inhale, reach the left fingertips forward, release the left elbow to the thigh, and sweep the right arm down and overhead. Inhale, lengthen along right side body, lean back. Exhale twice as long. 2 more breaths with exhales. Better twice as long. Inhale, come back up to center, straighten both legs, hands to the hips, parallel your feet. As you breathe in, lift your heart. As you breathe out, fold from the hips, bring your fingertips to the ground or grab your books if you need a little extra height underneath your hands. Press down into the feet, lift your inner thighs away from one another. Inhale here. And now as you exhale, if it's comfortable in your body, fold a little bit deeper. If the crown of your head is close to the ground, maybe you toe heel the feet further apart and place the crown of your head down on the ground. Walk the hands back, palms are shoulder width distance apart, elbows right on top of the wrists. Lift your shoulder blades away from the floor and find an exhale that's twice as long. Now you're welcome to bend your knees in this shape or to take breaks if you need them, but like we have been, we'll be holding this a little bit longer with a few variations. So take care of your body. You are the master of your experience. You're not here to do something that hurts, you're here to do something that heals, and you know what's best. If you're folded all the way forward, bring your hands forward and come up halfway. You can repeat that same variation, heading back down, or reach for your ankles, and then lower the crown of your head back down towards the ground or on the ground. It's okay if it's hanging. Reach the ankles out into the palms, and feel how your arms wide like this helps you spread across the chest and the upper back. Notice that as you exhale, twice as long. All right, bring the hands back forward. Inhale to come up halfway. Now find your books or your blocks, place them in your hands, regardless of whether you need them or not. We're going to head straight here into Parsvottanasana, pyramid pose. So turn all of your toes to the right and crawl the books to the right, framing your right foot, one on either side. Right toes facing directly forward, left toes either forward or slightly open to the left. Bend into your right knee, keep the knee bent, and reach the right hip back behind you. Press down into the left foot. And now here, either stay with your books, or if you can reach the floor and fold over, letting the head hang, do so, upside down again. You can leave that right knee bent, or with your breath and your exhales that are twice as long, you might bend on inhale and then work towards straight very slowly as you exhale. It's whatever you need for your hamstrings. This can be pretty intense. You might just hold the legs in their straight position. Keep pressing into that back foot. Firm the back leg. Let the head hang off the spine. And exhale twice as long. If you have the books, keep the books. If you don't need them because your fingers reach the floor, then you don't need them. You crawl back to center here. So bring both of your hands to the left and crawl back to your forward fold with wide legs.
Then head to the other side. Crawl the hands to the left. Turn all of your toes to the left. Now your right toes might face forward or they might be angled slightly open to the right. Bend into the left knee. With the knee bent, reach the left hip back. Draw the right hip forward. Press down into the right foot. And if you'd like, you can fold all the way down, letting the head hang. Options with the left knee. Bend on inhale, straighten on long exhale. Or keep it bent, or keep it straight. Follow your needs. Exhale twice as long. Head just hangs, brain falls with gravity, stretching the spinal cord all the way down to the base of the spine. Exhale twice as long. If you're using books, get rid of them and bend your left knee as deep as you need to plant both of your hands down on the ground. Step back, downward facing dog. Our next pose is Pigeon Pose or Figure 4 stretch on your back. I'll give you both options. You can rest in a child's pose and then decide what you want if you don't know what they are. So for Pigeon Pose, look between your hands. Bring your right knee forward and put it on the ground behind the right wrist. Swing your right foot over to the left, then straighten the left leg behind you. Lay your torso down over that front leg. And you might choose to slide a book or a prop underneath your right hip. You might just hang out here with the head down. If Pigeon Pose isn't for you, you'll come onto your back, knees bent, feet on the floor. Cross your right ankle over your left knee and pull your left knee in towards the chest, interlacing your fingers between calf and thigh. Same thing, a stretch for the external rotators, deep in the buttocks, near the sitting bones. Find that exhale that's twice as long. Remember, we move through our blocks with our stretch and our breath. And with our breath, the energy flows through the body. With our exhales, the heart rate slows. The body calms. Now if you're in Pigeon Pose, bring your hands underneath your shoulders to lift your torso off of your thigh. Curl your back toes under, lift your knee. Use a strength in your upper body to step back into a downward facing dog. If you're in Figure 4, release your legs. Take a breath with an exhale that's twice as long and change sides. For Pigeon, second side, step the left knee forward on the floor by the left wrist. Swing the left foot over to the right and lengthen the right leg out behind you. Lay your torso down over the left leg, maybe placing a prop underneath the left hip. You can play around with that, see what it brings you. And immediately find your exhale that's twice as long. Sometimes yoga classes are really energetic and you leave feeling tired and like you've had a workout. And that's fine. But it's also nice to practice in a way where you leave feeling energized, like you haven't sapped yourself of any remaining energy, but you've really made deposits into your wellness account.
Many of us already know that we're running on overdrawn. We've overdrafted. We're spending energy that we don't have. And practicing yoga is a way of putting energy back in there. When we're overdrawn, sure, but even when we're not, savings are important. There will always be a need, especially for our energy, whether we have it or not. From Pigeon Pose, bring your hands underneath your shoulders.
Lift your torso off your leg. Curl your right toes under, lift your knee. Press down into your hands, strengthen your shoulders, and step back, downward facing dog. If you're in figure 4, release. Bring both feet to the floor and rest. Yes. Everyone, make your way onto your belly. Stack your hands and place your forehead on the backs of your hands. And from here, bring your right knee along the floor up towards your right elbow or your right armpit. You can turn your left cheek down to the ground, so look to the right. And then from here, I like to take my right hand and bring it into the inner right groin and then swipe it out towards the inner knee, helping to open through the hip. And then take my right hand on the right buttocks and press the flesh of the buttocks down, away from my low back. So it lengthens any compression there. As best you can, try and keep that orientation of the right leg. And then just settle in. Exhaling twice as long. And this might be subtle for some. As you rest face down on the earth, can you feel what's happening in your right inner thigh, your groin, and your pelvic floor? And there's nothing to do but let go and exhale twice as long. And if you haven't already, you might adopt that voice in your head that's telling you every breath in, inhale, and every breath out, exhale twice as long. Like a mantra, inhale, exhale twice as long. It's a beneficial song to get stuck in your head. Now, if you're like me, you could stay here forever. By all means, you're at home. You might as well. Or you can come back to this anytime. We'll move on. So bring your right leg back behind you. And we'll change sides. Turn your head to the left, right cheek down. Draw your left knee up. And then place your left hand on your inner left groin and slide it out, just swiping or stroking your inner thigh to your inner knee. Then place your left hand on your left buttocks and press it away from the hip, away from the waist. And return your arms to a comfortable place. And exhale twice as long. I'm always amazed at how babies' bodies sort of just flatten against their caregivers' bellies or backs when they're strapped on with those backpacks. And here it's almost as if you're that baby and your caregiver is Mother Earth. And you're hugging that big curve, the sphere of the earth. You're releasing into that
support system, that care, that mother. And you're safe. You're exhaling twice as long. All right. Slide that left leg back down. Take the time that you need to make your way onto your backs. Once you're there, pull your knees into your chest. Give them a hug. Bring your arms out to a T, palms face up. Exhale to drop your knees over to the right. Lift up your right shoulder blade, scoot it over to the right, deepening the twist in the upper back. Maybe gaze over your left arm. 2 times, find your breath cycle. You know what to do. And after you've done your 2 rounds, or more if you'd like, gently, carefully bring the knees back to center and drop them over to the other side. Knees are on the left. We lift up the left shoulder blade and scoot it to the left, maybe turning the head to the right. And again, finding 2 breath cycles. Exhales twice as long. And bring the knees back to center. Release the feet to the floor. Then find your 2 books or 1 yoga block. Stack them flat. Lift up your hips and slide them underneath the buttocks. So the sacrum is on the blocks and the vertebrae of the low back are hanging off. From here, roll the shoulders underneath you. So you spread the chest open wide. Then let the palms rest face up, somewhere along the side of the body, closer to the hips than out to a T. Tuck your chin slightly in towards your throat to lengthen the back of your neck, and then relax the neck and throat completely, which might mean that the chin returns slightly back to where it started. Can you relax your shoulders and let them slip underneath you? Resting here in a supported bridge pose. Exhaling twice as long. Now, as you know, I stream on YouTube and Instagram will cut off in about a minute, a little less. So you might stay until you hear me stop talking, and then I really recommend taking your own Shavasana. So removing the blocks, laying flat on the floor, taking a few more rounds of those long exhales, and then just throwing it all to the wind and resting for as long as you'd like. And when you return back to your day, you'll do it very slowly, the whole process of sitting up, standing up, so that it's not that you practice cultivating the antidote to anxiety and overwhelm, but that you've achieved some amount of that, and then you take that treasure with you into the rest of the day. And because I know I've still got you, YouTube, I'll guide you into that Shavasana.
So press down into your feet, lift your hips, and remove the blocks from underneath your hips. Slowly lower back down. And then lengthen your legs long. Exhaling twice as long. I'll leave you here. Stay as long as you like. Remember what I said about moving slowly into the rest of your experience today. Thanks for practicing with me. And gratitude to my teachers, to the practice of yoga, and to India, where it came from.